All right, my friends, are these the top stocks to buy? We're going to take a look at IIPR, Dkng, ZM, natural gas, and BYND. This is going to be a fun one, I can tell already.
ChartGuys.com. Become a confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. Let's check out some charts.
All right, IIPR. This is going to take a little bit longer because I got to start on the weekly time frame. First of all, what we're going to look for, we're going to point out our support and resistance levels. Right now we have resistance at 139.53 from way back here in July. And we got some support levels on the week that we can look forward to, well, hopefully not look forward to, but we can look for support at 108.50. Overall, you know, it's nice. We got ourselves a nice weekly uptrend. We got clear momentum, and we have a nice target for these bulls on the 4-hour time frame to look for a little bit of a slowdown. If this is going to be a weekly reversal candlestick right here, meaning if we closed as is, which is not too far off, say for a really strong day tomorrow, this could be a reversal candlestick. We got our higher low, we got our higher high, and now what we'd look for is that higher low. EMA 12 seems to be the performing EMA, so we can look for an entry over the next few weeks down in the area of 122, whatever that EMA 12 happens to be. Seems like a good potential area for support. So with that said, I go into the daily analysis and I say weeklies in an uptrend. We have a potential reversal candlestick. What kind of weakness am I seeing on the daily time frame? And is there something there that's going to give me a little bit more confidence in short-term downside so that I can maybe scout a weekly EMA entry later on, let's say next Wednesday? I don't know. Well, let's take a look. Daily time frame. What we're seeing here is a little bit of a tightening range. We had our lows, our highs, higher lows, lower highs, broke out of it. Not a lot of razzle-dazzle behind that break. Big volume, bigger volume on the bear side, so that essentially cancels out that momentum, that excitement that I'd like to see. I want to see big bull volume, and I don't want to see anyone taking profits. Daily time frame. What do we have for support resistances? Well, we got our high from yesterday's candlestick, 136.63. We've got a 4-hour higher low here coming into play. And I think we have also got this guy, I should say daily higher low at 123.32. And the 4-hour higher low is going to be right there. And this is going to be a 4-hour for me. It's probably going to shift a little bit with the pre-market data. Then we're going to plug into this as soon as we switch to the 4-hour time frame. But when I'm looking for daily lows, I like to see that nice movement. If I can see that movement, that tells me that that's the prevailing trend on the daily time frame. If I'm moving up and I see a little blip in the form of a red candlestick, that just tells me that it's an oscillation on a smaller time frame. It's still going to be an important level, but it's going to be a 4-hour level. So let's go in there. There's at 123.32. We come back up. Bears make an attack. That's as far as they can push, 128.51. So that is the level, and that's exactly what I thought it was going to be when looking at it on the daily time frame. So now, if we are going to see this red week, this is our high, and now we're pushing back. If this is all that the bulls can muster in response to this bearish attack because they're running out of steam on the daily time frame, then I'm going to look for a loss of that 128.51. If we lose 128.51, then that's us heading back down towards that EMA level. And where are we on the weekly? Right there. So we'd be losing that level, and then we would expect that 4-hour trend to develop into the 122 area. So it's all about 128.51 for me. 123.32 is support beyond that. Not really a bear flag, but a little bit of a tightening range. So 129.49 is going to be an important level for us as well. Now, if the bulls can get a hold of themselves and break over top of 132.88, I think they have another attempt here on the 4-hour time frame of both closing the weekly candle strong, closing the daily candle strong, and overall, possibly just setting up a 4-hour higher low. So some key levels to watch. Tomorrow's close will be really indicative of what's going to happen for the rest of the week. So I'm excited to see what happens there. DKNG. Well, let's zoom out a little bit. So we're continuing this bearish momentum from last week's candle. We saw a little bit of an attempt, so maybe a little bounce here, but now we're colliding right with our EMA 12. So that's an important level. If we see a bounce tomorrow, then that's going to give us a little bit more confidence in the EMA 12 being an important weekly level. We have seen it act as an important area of support for the last, well, most of the summer. So it's going to be an important test coming up pretty much tomorrow. Daily time frame. We have changed our daily trend from lower highs to lower lows. We are now seeking lower lows. Our next support on the daily time frame is not available until 40.28. So a lot of room to go here. Our daily RSI is pretty comfortable where it's at. So what I could expect would be a flush tomorrow, and then we'd be looking for, if we see any optimistic strength, just a lower high under 52.36 at this point. 4-hour time frame is trending well, lower highs, lower lows. Nice area for a near double top, 30-cent spread, so not quite a double top. But if we look at it on the 4-hour time frame, we can see how there appears to be some congestion at that point. 30-cent spread doesn't look too spectacular when you have it merged together like that. So we've also got ourselves a 15-minute downtrend. We can see that pretty clearly here. Lower highs, lower lows all around. So what we'll be looking for tomorrow would be a loss of 44.80 at some point, likely pre-market. If we're not going to see any strength, 40.28 is the key level that must hold for the weekly time frame. For the daily time frame, we're just looking for, ideally, some sort of reversal. So what does that look like on the 15? We talked about that 15-minute downtrend. Well, we're just going to be looking for a 15-minute trend change. Probably looks something like this. Then as soon as we hit that high, we're going to look for a higher low. And then maybe we can get some fun happening on the daily time frame, get the bounce off that weekly support, and carry on to the upside. But right now, short term, Dkng is all bearish. ZM, this one is fun. Continuing its epic climb out of the squeeze zone. So we had this tightening range. We had a beautiful 4-hour squeeze. We broke out. We've come down, back tested this area of congestion as a support. It's proven itself, and the 4-hour bulls are very excited about that. So it's time to say goodbye to that drawing. Goodbye. We're not going to see you again, and we're going to carry on. 4-hour trend is very, very bullish at this point. We have our 4-hour higher lows. So now what we're going to look for is a sign of slowdown on the hourly time frame, which would suggest that we're going to come down and set a new hourly higher low over 492.05. What I would look for would be a loss of 525.23 in tomorrow's action. If we see a loss at that level, then I would expect us to come down and try to set a higher low. 500 psychological seems like a happy little number for a 4-hour higher low to form. However, if bulls just want to keep on doing what they're doing, we're going to see some resistance right at the high of 539.68. And I think we are in a good position for sideways consolidation on the hourly time frame. So I'll be watching this range. And generally the direction of the break is going to be the direction of the play. So if bulls early break out over 540.05 and they see nice volume on that break, then I'm going to say, hey, we got ourselves a higher low. 4-hour bulls are very excited, very happy, and they're going to see some upside continuation. And I don't think we have any resistance anywhere in sight. No, we do not. All right, CM's looking good. Natural gas. This one's a little bit of a different type of scenario. So if you haven't traded natural gas before, I've often heard it called and referred to as the Widowmaker. It does some wild stuff. It can have some rapid movements. It's a lot of fun to trade, but it can also be pretty dangerous to trade. It behaves a little bit differently than what we see with stocks. So if you're interested in trading natural gas, watch it for a while, paper trade it, get used to it, learn its personality, and then learn how it can just whipsaw you into oblivion. Natural gas, weekly time frame, higher highs, higher lows, possible reversal candlestick. We'll have to see what happens and what the inside of this weekly time frame looks like. But we've got resistance at the high of the weekly. And then we've also got ourselves, so that resistance is 295.55. And below that, 179.5. I'm just hearing my wife in my head. You know, this stuff is so boring, right? No one wants to hear about charts all day. But you know what? I know you guys are out there, and if you like charts as much as I do, then this is a lot of fun. I have fun doing it, so I hope you are enjoying watching it and listening to it. Okay, back to business. 295. Wow, $2.95 resistance, weekly support 179. Daily time frame, and this is where things get interesting. So on the daily time frame, we have a 4-hour uptrend. We gapped up into a doji. We have an indecision candlestick. We have a bearish candlestick, and now we're holding EMA 12. So this is a range that I'm going to be paying more attention to. It's more important to me than the weekly. We have an opportunity here to change the daily trend. We are seeing this daily downtrend now. $2.61 is our support, and then our resistance is right there. there is a real lack of clarity on the 4-hour time frame for what's happening, and that is likely a result of the fact that we're seeing that weekly reversal candlestick. So what we're going to look for is the development and confirmation of this 4-hour trend. If we see the loss of $2.61, it's going to be a lower low, and it's going to be confirmed 4-hour downtrend, and then we got a few other supports to watch for as well. Even shorter time frame, hourly seems to be slowing down a little bit here. We do have a higher low attempt, but we have a lot of congestion, and looks like bulls are just grinding along that EMA 12 with a lot of bear volume behind them. So if we start to see a 15-minute trend change, I would suspect we're going to come down, test that 261, and then head possibly down on the daily to complete a more bearish weekly candlestick. And if we see a red day tomorrow and we close below 261, that is certainly going to be a very strong candidate for that weekly reversal. And in fact, that would be a weekly Marabuzzo close. So that would have us pointing to the downside. So with all of that said, my short-term bias would be for a weekly higher high to be set this week at 295, and then looking for a 4-hour downtrend to follow. BYND. This is an old chart from our old 4-hour channel here, and the only reason that I left this big mess here was because there are often times where we get into strong periods where we trend really well for several weeks. So this was August 27th, and we finally broke out of it in October 5th. When we have a confirmed area of support and resistance, sometimes it echoes into the future. And we have this trend line here. We can see that we've broken above that trend line. Now we gap down and we're underneath it, and we see it acting as a resistance again. So I'm going to leave that there just for us to watch and pay attention to. I'm not going to trade against it necessarily until more recent action really locks that in as a confirmed resistance. But daily time frame, we are doing very well. RSI is still extended. We're just seeing the first red week. If this red week closes and we start to see a daily trend change, that's when that's going to be the main requirement for us. We would be underway for some weekly consolidation. And weekly consolidation would be very good for long-term BYND at this point. RSI is at 64.88, and on the weekly time frame, it's overbought still, just overbought at 68.37, so just under the radar there. What we're going to look for is healthy consolidation. I'd love a red week here. I'd love a weak green week. Build ourselves a bull flag. That would be beautiful. So there's that resistance. We're going to leave it there for a while. And what we're going to look for in the short term, we see a lot of congestion today, a little bit of equilibrium. Well, perhaps not. 4-hour time frame inside bars, hourly time frame, a little bit of choppy mess. So we go back to our 4-hour time frame. We got our inside bar levels. What we can do is see how well those bulls are able to defend the low of the last 4-hour candlestick at 183.40. If we lose that level, I would say that we're going to be heading down to test 180 psychological. And if that breaks our 4-hour time frame, well, doesn't have a lot of support till 164.00. All right, that's it for round 1 of our ticker review. I hope it was useful for you. And if it is, please consider subscribing, liking, smashing all of the like buttons, all of that stuff. It helps a lot. And a lot of you guys watch this and you comment on every video. I appreciate that. Even if it's just a thanks. I do appreciate it. So thank you.